Well, dude, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a big deal being on the Lunchbreak podcast.
I'm realizing that now.
Yeah.
I apologize it took so long for me to know that.
Yeah, well, we've been like compared to Seinfeld, where the podcast's about nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
classy. It'll be a great opportunity for you to like wax poetics.
No, I
promote
hope,
the business.
People like when I promote this, I'll be like, I hope you take nothing away from this.
Feels right.
Great.
On that
Actually,
though,
yeah.
first person who brought us a gift,
Yes.
Teddy Roosevelt, dude.
Man
This
in the
is
arena.
The man in the arena.
This is incredible.
One of my favorite quotes. So
I so thankful. Dalton and I are gonna have to fight over it, and he does jujitsu. I'm sure he'll tell you that story.
I think it could go really good on the wall. I think it fits with the vibe right there.
Yeah, it might.
It'll go up there.
Yeah, maybe I move this guy and I put it next to the Last Supper. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Most of this stuff is all stuff that came from my grandparents' house.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
If that tells you anything about my grandparents' decor
You
style.
just were like, I'm claiming all of it.
Yeah. I mean, they're still
Or
alive.
do you have a lot of cousins or aunts and uncles?
I was the favorite
Okay.
grandkid. Yeah.
Or you took all this when they were still alive?
They're still alive.
Oh, still.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
They actually
Mine are
have-
all dead, so I just assume.
Dude,
I don't know why.
they're in their like mid 90s and they're kicking. They don't mess
That's
around.
amazing.
Yeah.
But my grandparents were always different. Like, my grandma is the one who taught me like really dirty jokes growing up.
I did not have that, grandma or grandpa.
Yeah,
Well,
my grandma
anyway.
was. I mean, dude, I would kill someone for her. I love her so much. But like, my wife's name was is Taryn. But years into our marriage, my grandma kept calling her Terry, and my wife's like, it's Taryn. It's totally cool, but it's Taryn. And my grandma's like, Terry, Taryn. I mean, well, you could call me anything you want except Grandma Bastard. She was like, well, why would I call you that? She's like, I don't know, but I'm just saying that's the one thing I don't want you to call me. So,
I
that's
think
awesome.
I need to meet your grandma.
yeah, she's a good lady.
Yeah.
Good
She
lady.
messes up quite a few people's names. I was Dolphin. I was Dolphin for a long time.
Like the animal.
Yeah. So, because my name's Dalton. She's
Right.
like, Dolphin? I was like, we're here.
Sure.
This is it.
We corrected her probably 6 times, and it just was like the fish, dolphin. Like
That's not a fish. Like the fish?
yeah,
Dolphin.
she
Okay.
couldn't get around it.
It was awesome.
Oh, I love that woman.
Great. Yeah.
She's the best.
But you brought I'm curious, break it down. Why is your favorite quote?
It just resonates with me, I don't know if you want to read part of it or whatever. I don't have it memorized. I think I need to, since it's one of my favorites. But it basically talks about being the man in the arena. He's the one doing the work. He's the one, the gladiator. While everyone else in the stands is watching, judging, critiquing, whether good or bad.
Yeah.
And so, no one knows exactly what it's like to be in the arena except for the man.
Yeah.
So I think we all are that man in our own lives.
I like
so-
that.
Yeah.
The thing that I like the most, I think, is if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
so
that's
That's a
pretty
cool- that's a
powerful.
cool one.
so the
Yeah,
second part of
very
that
cool.
is show up, put in the work,
Yeah.
be the man in the arena, not just the guy watching from the sideline.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. There are not just to bring a little bit of levity, but they bring in those memes like whenever you're doing football or they're doing hockey or whatever, and it's the fat guy eating potato chips like, I could have made the free throw. Like, why did you miss that? And it's
exactly.
you've never.
Oh
don't-
man, we're all just such it's funny how we say, oh, that NFL quarterback sucks. It's like, do you know how good he actually is?
Seriously.
You're comparing him.
Yeah.
Let's take what's his name, the BYU guy, Wilson.
Zach Wilson, yeah.
Okay, yeah, maybe he hasn't had the best 2 years, if it's been 2 years in the NFL, and we're comparing him to other greats, like the best, right?
Yeah.
But he's an incredible quarterback,
Yeah.
nonetheless,
Yeah.
in the big scheme of comparing people and quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, we sit here on our couch and say, you can't miss the free throw in the last second of the game, you idiot.
Yeah.
Well,
like
have you
never
seen
done that,
Brian Scalabrine? He was like the most pasty white dude to ever play in the NBA. And a ginger. Played for the Celtics, among other teams. Hayden's a Celtics fan. Ridiculous. Good job on beating the Heat by 800 points last night.
Well, I'm a Nuggets fan, so.
Ooh. I'm a Jazz fan. It's been a rough run for the past
I did grow up in Colorado,
70 years.
So I'm not.
In Pocatello?
No, Colorado.
Oh, I think so. Pocatello.
I'm not some bandwagon fan.
You've been with them
born
during
and
the
raised
low
there,
moments,
yeah,
too.
until I went to college. Oh, I mean, it's been low my
Right.
entire life.
Right.
Small market team. Yeah.
But, dude, Jokic is...
I
picked up Jokic.
when like super teams were starting, and the big three and all that. I just thought, oh, these small market teams like Utah and Denver, like we're never going to have a chance.
Yeah.
And then, it's possible. I mean, I love
You guys
seeing the
drafted-
Bucks win,
oh my gosh.
Denver,
Yeah.
these small market teams show up, Celtics or LA.
It does feel good.
Yeah.
One of my business partners is a huge Celtics fan. So if we go to the finals, like we're going to have to go to a game.
Dude, if
and
that's
go
a
head-to-head.
Denver Celtics final, I'm all in on the Thuggets. All in.
Hey, that was Melo phase.
Yeah, but
I'm okay
I'll
with
always think of them as
Yeah.
that, and I'm okay with it. Like,
What's
I don't,
funny is-
I don't mind a little grit.
They were though, like Kmart, J.R.
J.R.
Smith,
Smith,
the
dude.
Birdman.
Oh, yeah, Chris Anderson.
The whitest thug, and Carmelo.
He was Jason Williams with tattoos and a faux hawk.
And I never had even heard the term Thuggets till I moved to Utah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, dude, we just hate what we can't have. So
Wasn't nothing to be proud of back then or until recently. But
Yeah.
so grateful for Jokic. He's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but so Scalabrine is like,
Yeah.
dude, I think in his NBA career, averaged like 6 minutes a game, like 2 points a game. Like, he was the 14th guy on the bench, right? And retires, and he's now come out for being like, I'm closer to LeBron than people who are just outside of the NBA are to me. He's retired. He's an old dude. He goes and plays D1 college athletes. Dude, he freaking torches them. It's not even close. And these guys are like, they think they're hot stuff. And he's like, you have no idea how good you have to be the last guy on the bench of an NBA team. Like,
What a quote.
Yeah.
he smokes these people. It's funny to watch.
Yeah.
They come in just so hot. And
Yeah,
like,
we can beat an older
You
guy.
said
Who's
Yeah,
this
guy,
like ginger?
Yeah.
He like wasn't. He didn't look athletic or coordinated out on the NBA court. He like was a three. I wouldn't even say he was a 3-and-D guy. He was like a 3-point specialist. Kind of what he did.
Yeah.
He gets in these one-on-ones. He's dunking people. He's like putting them on their ass. He's crushing.
You said
Yeah.
he got like 6 minutes a game?
Maybe not even that.
Well, because I was
many.
going to say he probably sat a lot of games.
Yeah.
Close games, he's not going to be playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He didn't hardly ever play.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
but smoking these people.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Like there's this like I don't know.
I love
Yeah.
that perspective. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to think, and it's nice to think about how that plays like in our life of like, I heard Jimmy Carr say, everybody. So Jimmy Carr was talking about his Netflix special, and he was like, everybody wants the Netflix special, and nobody wants to write jokes for 10 hours and bomb, in front of a crowd, and it's just like, yeah, you never get there unless you start doing it, and everybody wants like to win, but nobody wants to do anything that, or at least that was the sentiment of Jimmy Carr, was like nobody wants to like
put in the 10
Put in
hours
all
of
the-
bad jokes.
yeah, exactly, like bomb
For
in
the
front of a
one
bunch of drunk
laugh.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Jimmy Carr. He can be crude, pretty dirty, but he's funny.
He's really funny.
He's super funny. Wait, were you
I thought he
listening
was
to
kinda
him
mellow.
on the Diary of a CEO podcast?
Yes. That was
was
it.
a
I think I
good
saw that clip.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I
amazing.
like the Diary of a CEO.
I've never heard of that.
I think he hits and misses with his guests. Sometimes he'll bring on like
I feel
I'm
like,
like, whoa. And then sometimes he'll bring on hitters, and I'm like, but again, like that's his podcast, right? Like Like you have to go through.
Yeah, I
some of
feel
these-
like he's trying to get just
yeah.
like the biggest names right now or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, hit or miss for sure.
Yeah. But that's okay though, like because then you'll go through and you'll get one where he's like, yeah, that was a really good interview. I think he does a really good job interviewing. I just think some of the guests he brings on, I don't know. I think some of them you can tell that this guest was for views. And this guest was really good. Like he's a great interviewer, but sometimes he brings on guests and I'm like, did you vet that person? Like, this is crazy. You got like this person, like this can cure cancer. And I'm like, how are you not demonetized on YouTube right now? Like, this is insane.
Well, and I feel like he'll have two people come on that talk about health or whatever, and they're contradicting each other
yeah.
to some degree.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's wild, but a good one. It's
I've
fun.
never
It's a
listened
good podcast. Yeah,
So
it's really good.
are you a podcast junkie? Do you listen a lot?
I mean, I have my list, my library of podcasts that I listen to, but
Nice.
and I'm usually listening to them when I'm working out, because honestly, or commuting.
Because you can't do it when you're working,
No,
right?
no.
I don't know how people do that. I had an old employee who would listen to podcasts while they were working. I'm like, I would either only listen to the podcast
right
or
Even
just
like,
work.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
even if it's music, it's like, okay, it needs to have no lyrics. Speaking of which, a good soundtrack to listen to while you're working is like Interstellar.
really?
Oh.
Just it's
Yeah,
a
I can dig
vibe.
it.
I
Yeah,
could
can dig
see
it.
that actually.
I can dig it. Yeah.
I've even found like sitting in my office door closed with my Alexa playing music is one thing, but once I put headphones on, it like zones me in even further.
Yeah.
It's so odd, but like on Fridays we work alone, or usually I'm the only one in the office. Hayden will come in probably every other Friday. I'll be in the office alone with headphones on. It just like zones me
You
in
get
a
in
way
your
that's
zone.
different.
Yeah.
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 People say they work at home or whatever, and like they watch Netflix on a separate screen. You've heard of that?
That's wild.
There is no way that's productive.
No, they're just
Work
binging The
getting
Office.
done. I mean, if you think about it, you're just like, yeah, maybe you're focused, and then you just look away for a minute, but then you slowly are just getting into it.
And you're done.
I just, unless it's something you've watched 20 times, and maybe you just want it in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
get
my
that.
ADHD. I've seen The Office maybe 20 times. And so I'll have it on, but I'm not, it's just noise.
I mean, I rarely work from home. I'm just not good at home, and I don't think it's good for my mental health. But if I am at home and I have something on, it'll be like a Premier League soccer game between Wolves and Burnley, two teams I don't give a turd about.
Yeah.
But it's on, and then it's like I'll hear a goal and I'll stop and rewind it, and then I just like.
yeah.
But I could
Yeah.
never.
Definitely couldn't have Jimmy Carr on.
No.
No.
You got to pay attention to that.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's you got to get the story that he's telling. I
So
like that.
are you guys a work from home team?
Yeah. I mean, ever since I've been on the team, so it's been over 3 years since I joined, because of COVID, and because of, I mean, it was all Utah employees in office every day, and like it was even track your time in.
Oh wow.
So, we went remote when everyone did, and
Yep.
for digital marketing, which is what we do, I mean, that was kind of set the standard. Like, well, I can do everything with a laptop and the internet.
Right.
So give me like a really good reason why I need to be in an office.
Uh-huh.
And so when we go and find talent, that we have to consider that. Like, to find the best people, a lot of them just want to be remote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How stepping into a company that was already remote when you joined?
For about a year.
It was. So you're stepping in as the CEO. Like, did you find that difficult building connections and I don't want to use the word establishing leadership, but like, having that sort of presence when it's one-on-one individual or it's a big group Zoom meeting, was that a challenge, or how did you go about that?
So I stepped in as VP, right? They hired me as VP. Brandon, who you know,
Yep.
and Cade, the other founder, they were the current CEO president, and then there's also another agency. I'm just giving some context here.
Okay.
That matters maybe. They're like, we're stepping away from the day-to-day of just Wallaroo to kind of oversee both agencies. So I came in as VP. The current VP was made CEO.
Got it.
After the first year, they came to me. Brandon actually lives really close to me in Pleasant Grove, and he had Cade on his phone, like FaceTiming. And I just like opened my door because I'm working at home, and he's like, "We want you to be CEO." I'm like, "Okay," but it was like a big surprise.
That's awesome.
So it's been about almost 2.5 years of being CEO.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, that was and is probably one of the biggest challenges. You know, the remoteness. But what I've learned is if you have the right people, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter if they're remote or not. And like if you can trust them, right, to get the work done. And when I got to Wallaroo, I mean, Brandon and Cade have built something incredible.
They really have.
That I wanted to be a part of, and I saw a really big opportunity for my career growth, to be a part of something special. So I joined. But obviously, before you join a company, there's still a lot you don't know that's going on behind the scenes. As much due diligence as you do, right? And my eyes were just open to a lot of, you know, just there was a lot of messiness inside, but I saw a lot of opportunity. You know, actually, a lot of the team at the time there was some toxicity, entitlement, resentment, and so. It took, man, a year and a half to weed all that out. And, man, the team we have now is incredible, insane. You know, and so that makes the remote part easier. Mm-hmm. Like if it was the team from, I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody, but that's just what.
It doesn't mean that they're not great people or great employees. It's just
that
not
was
the right fit culture for them, right?
And that was the current culture.
Yeah.
If it was still like that, I mean, I don't even know if we'd be around.
Yeah.
It is true. I mean, the old saying, one bad apple will ruin the bushel. But I think especially in an agency environment where you're selling skill sets of individuals.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
that negativity doesn't just sit with that person; it spreads like wildfire. It's so difficult to kind of contain and to pull back and then to regrow. Mm-hmm. I think oftentimes the only way you can do it is like sever ties. And again, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person or a bad employee or that your company's trash. It just means that like that wasn't the right fit.
Well,
100%, because I know everyone that has left, and they're amazing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, what a credit to you to be able to say that, because I think it can be hard when you're trying to run a company and you see someone who, in the moment, you're like, dude, you are crushing me right now. You're making my life hell. You're not supporting our culture. You're not growing this. Like, it could become really easy to grow resentful, even late after they've moved on. But the fact that you seem to like recognize, hey, these people are still great people. They have a lot of value and things to bring. I think that's a testament to your leadership.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, I think that part of my leadership is because I've been let go multiple times in my career. I know what that feels like. But then I realized, oh, yeah, maybe I didn't want change, or I was comfortable. But when you find that next thing that's better, now I know from that perspective, like, oh yeah, like this is going to be better. It's going to be a win-win.
Yeah.
Maybe not right now today, but, and obviously, you know, you can't really say that in the moment,
Yeah.
but
Right.
like, I'm thinking that like, you're going to be better off for this. And
Yeah. And I think there's something to that, just connecting the dots, but sometimes you're just in a bad, I think you just need that shake up to like, you know, wake people up and bring people to, you know, like, you know, because it's not necessarily that people are bad at what they do or bad people. You just like, we've just been entrenched in this culture or this vibe for so long that we've got to shake it up, and we've got to like restructure and get people like woken up again.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I like that.
The
You have to
days
just
of-
kinda
yeah.
rattle the cage.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like because it's so easy to like gossip right? It's so easy to start, like bitching, right? And then once you like get down a path, like you almost have to have that to get out of like that mindset of like, this sucks, everything sucks. And then you just need somebody to like shake you a little bit and put you in a new environment and be like, oh yeah, actually life is good. And maybe we're just in a bad spot and everybody was stressed and we needed to everybody needed to move on a little bit. Like I had that at one of my first jobs. Like it really took people moving and getting let go and bringing new people in for us to realize like, oh yeah, it's actually not that bad. We just let ourselves get entrenched in this,
It becomes habit.
like water cooler talk. Yeah. And there was no way to get out of it except for just to break people up,
Yeah. And
I don't know, I feel like
we
that's
hired a lot of people early on, like we're right there by BYU.
Oh yeah.
So interns, like right out of college, first jobs, they don't have anything to compare it to. So it's easy to just kind of, I don't know, complain.
Yeah.
And
Perspective changes a lot, doesn't it?
they don't have anything else
man.
to compare it to. It's like,
I'm
it's good to
dealing-
have a couple ex-girlfriends.
I'm dealing with that right now though, because I have 2 salespeople. It's their first sales job, and we just did a new pay plan that actually benefits them. But it was so interesting because I've been in sales forever, and I've been through a million pay plan changes, right? Some of them great, some of them not good. But this was their first one, and I remember like my first time seeing that, and this is their first time. And they're like all confused, like the world's ending. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is why experience sometimes matters, right? Like, because it's like, no, dude, your pay plan's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, go to any other sales organization, like, that kind of experience and like, yeah, matters. Because I'm dealing with it right now, and it's fun to watch.
I don't know about you. I feel like I kind of had a similar situation. Like I'd been growing and progressing in my career, and then I got a job as a CEO at a small company. And I remember when I was CMO of a big tech company, leading marketing teams at GoPro, I remember thinking like, why can't the CEO just make that decision? Why can't the CEO just do this? Like, it's so easy. Just like do it, And then the second I became CEO, your perspective changes.
You're like,
and you
shit,
start
this is
seeing
hard.
things and you're like, oh my goodness, this is... And I don't know, for me, that was that first 6 months being a CEO, I felt like I almost needed to go back and apologize to my former CEOs. Like, hey, I'm sorry that I was a jerk. I didn't have that perspective. I didn't understand. I was only thinking about it from my lens, even though I thought I understood yours. I didn't.
Yeah.
Right. Like it really
so
changed
accurate.
things for me.
So accurate. Yeah.
Really. Can I ask, like, what is there a thing or an experience that was the most jarring or shocking for you as a new CEO?
Man, I don't know if it was just like the weight of, okay, like this is on me to, like it ends with me to ultimately be successful or not. I mean, sure, we preach extreme ownership and everyone needs to own what they do, but they're on the team because I want them on the team. Everything ends with me, and like that was a heavy weight. But there was a lot of stuff I remember. So this was, early 2022. So just over 2 years ago. That was a rough year. Just like gaining that new perspective.
Yeah.
Like dealing with angry clients where it's like, it's not my fault, but like I have to be the one to own it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and just kind of like adjusting to the weight of that, I think took a bit of time.
Yeah.
But it was something that I think I wanted,
Yeah.
But it's funny looking even now, it's only been 2 years like that in the long grand scheme of things. That's not a long time.
In another 2 years, you'll probably look back and be
Yeah.
like, oh, my perspective then
And it's
was...
like, man, everything I was dealing with in 2 years ago, like is a piece of cake now or whatever.
Yeah.
So that reminds me, I forgot this piece of advice. So Evan owns Straight Up Growth. They're an Amazon agency based out of San Diego. Love this guy. But when I took over CEO at Vid Army, I remember calling him just being like, dude, what have I got myself into? Like, this is not what I expected for a lot of different reasons, right? And I'm like, I just don't know how you manage that emotion and that like peak. We just signed someone big and then a valley, like we just lost someone or this employee came with this. And his advice was write those things down and then in a week go back. And if there's still a problem in a week, that's okay. Go back in a month. And if there's still a problem in a month, it's okay. Go back in 3 months. And if in 3 months there's still a problem, you got yourself a real problem. Like and it was just trying to like put it into perspective that as a CEO, as a business owner, you're probably going to have a problem every day or every week, right? Like it just, something comes up. Now, it doesn't mean that they're massive problems, but you're going to have problems to solve. You're going to have things to get over. It's the problems that like maintain and that persist that are truly problems. Everything else is just like, oh, well, that's just a part of the role. That's just part of,
I love that.
Like,
because
what you need to focus,
every time we would lose a client, it was like this huge pit in my stomach, like loss, right?
Yeah.
That I would like physically be in anguish over for days or a week or whatever. So if like we're thinking like there's this plane of like where we're kind of centered, we dip down into that and then, we signed and collar and there's this huge high, but like, so over the past 2 years, like those dips, those valleys and like highs, it's like, they aren't these big things anymore. It's smaller, even though they're the same events happening.
Yeah.
'Cause I've been able to like, like everything's gonna be fine. So I don't need to go as low as I used to. I'm realizing like, in a week or a month, it's gonna be okay if we just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Hayden centers me on that a lot. he's smirking in the background like, dude, there are moments where, I woke up this morning and sent Hayden not a mean text to Hayden, but just like dude, and then it's like 10 minutes later, I'm like, I know I lean hard on you. I'm sorry I sent that. Like I still catch myself having those moments, even when things are positive. I think the other thing that I've realized is you're going to have these up and downs, but you want to look at the trend line. And even if the trend line isn't like hockey stick growth, but if it's a steady climb, like
100%.
Dude, you can look back in a year and be like, holy smokes.
Far.
It's one of the things I tried to do this morning to center me is I went back and I looked at, well, where were we last year? And then I was like, if last year, May, we were where we were this year, May, I'd have been at an absolute peak. And right now I feel like maybe I'm on a little bit of a dip, right? Like even that perspective, I was like, oh, well, I guess it's okay. I guess we're all right.
Yeah.
But it's hard, but as the CEO, it's hard to, at least for me, it's a constant battle to try to like manage that and then portray that appropriately to the team too, because the team feels it when you feel it.
Yeah.
And if the team feels it too much, that's not a good thing.
Well, and just like you don't want to, fall into that valley as much. I've also learned, maybe I shouldn't celebrate, or you know what I mean? It has the same effect on the other side. Like
absolutely.
The win doesn't have the same effect on me because I know
it could be fleeting.
It is fleeting.
Yeah. That's a good point.
What's that quote? Success isn't forever and failure isn't fatal. Right? Like
say that again?
Success isn't forever and failure isn't fatal.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. So like that's what helps keep me temperate, which is just that real here. Like, yep, we won big. Like that's cool. We lost big. It's all right. Like, keep going. Just I don't know. That's what keeps.
I think it's for me. It's like almost maybe a negative where my emotions are just like not big in each direction. Like my wife is the opposite. She's like amazing when someone gives her a gift.
Yeah.
Right. Like she just makes such a big deal out of it, makes that person feel so special. And then when I receive a gift, I'm like, oh, thanks. Like,
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm really grateful.
Yeah.
But I'm not showing this huge wave of emotion outwardly and not unintentionally, but it's because I'm trying to just like regulate my emotions in the center.
Yeah, it's a very stoic thing to just be like, listen,
exactly.
it's the journey. Because the rest of the quote is, success isn't forever, failure isn't fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts, right? So it's like, we just got to keep going. Like we won this one, like let's celebrate. We lost this one, let's figure out why. But like the end of the meeting is, we'll keep going, right? Like the end of the meeting is tomorrow.
I mean, you don't really have a choice, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, and I heard this one time about like, I like to read some of those Eastern philosophies, and they were talking about being present. And one of the speakers was like, one of the authors was like, you really don't have a choice but to be present. Because if you do anything else, it's like this, type of schizophrenia that happens where you try to live in the past or you try to jump forward and it's not possible. So you're fighting yourself and you're starting to like, your mind and reality start to come apart a little bit. Because you don't own the past and you don't own the future. Like you just, so you don't have a choice but to live in the present because it's already over and you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I have a hard time with that though. I feel like I'm often living ahead of myself or reliving what has come. And I think all of a sudden you can look up and like, am I enjoying just where I'm at today?
For me, it's more just always thinking about the future. I don't know how much I dwell on the past, but
sure. And
man,
it's one of
does that lead to anxiety?
In the moment though is, man, in today's world, it's hard.
Yeah, my therapist said
that.
that.
It's so hard.
Depression lives in the past, anxiety lives in the future.
I've heard that, and I like that.
I like it too. I mean, it makes sense for me. I know that, like, when you talk about, especially with your experience, but like when you talk about mental health, there's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
You need like a menu approach. You need to try a different, but for me, that helps because whenever I'm getting anxious, I'm like, so what am I worried about again?
Yeah.
Oh, like this thing that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, dang it.
Like, all right, bring it back, dude. Because like I don't, you just don't get that. It's not yours, and so you just do everything you can. And
and when I feel the most guilty for it is, are you guys dads?
Yeah.
Yeah. So man, if I'm like catch myself, I'm with my kids, still thinking about work. Tomorrow or in a month, living, it's like, man, I really need to be in the moment right now. Because he's only going to be 8 for another 4 months. And then he's going to be completely different. And what can I take advantage of today?
Yeah.
So that's the hardest too.
Yeah.
So how many kids do you have?
4 kids.
Nice.
3 boys and 1 girl. So oldest is 15. He's 9th grade. Today's actually his last. He made the JV soccer team at Pleasant Grove. Today's his last game.
Good for him as a 9th grader.
Nice,
dude. That's big ups.
Yeah, he's
way to go.
Way better. I played high school soccer, but he's better than me.
What position does he
Nick
play?
played soccer.
So on his club team, all growing up, he played center, mid, and or wing.
Okay.
Or striker, like all offense.
He was
basically.
all offense.
But he's always been just like a hustler. He just never gives up running after the ball. So that's why they would put him in center mid because he was just all over.
But you have to have an engine that doesn't stop to play that spot.
Exactly, and he had that. I was just like, and his coaches, me, my wife were just like, I don't know where that comes from, but his high school coach has put him at right defense, but he makes runs up and gets.
He does
shots
a lot of the overlapping runs.
He likes it.
What a beautiful game. I know a lot of people in the States still don't see it, but
it's gaining popularity. It really is, because there's not a lot of games where you have to be very patient and wait for that one goal that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or maybe none, but like that climactic experience that just doesn't happen like every 30
In
seconds
basketball.
in basketball or something, you know?
Maybe we just count a goal as 7 points, and football fans will realize it's kind of the same thing.
It's kind
There
of
we
the
go.
same
Yeah.
thing. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so that's my oldest, and then I have a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, and 8-year-old.
Oh, that's a
Nice.
good run.
So we're right in the thick of. I've gone from like the babysitting phase to chauffeur. I'm a chauffeur now all day long.
dude,
Running
and that's
through
no
really
joke. That's a
Yeah, that's a
real,
lot, dude.
because your 15-year-old always wants to be with friends or at this soccer thing, or
And he can't drive himself yet. He did get his
Yeah.
permit. That's another whole
Dude.
anxiety-ridden
You're
ordeal.
like, this is just gonna happen.
it is. So I've got a almost 20-year-old, 17, 14, and 8.
Okay.
So I'm a few years ahead of you, but the moment that they can drive, it's really scary.
But also,
But dude, it's awesome. It's
So nice.
You remember when your oldest, you were like, you're old enough now that I can leave you with the other kids where me and mom can go like dinner and a movie.
yeah, he was 7.
This is that, but like on crack. It's
Oh yeah.
And now that I have 2 that can drive, and my third is a year from having his permit. It's not that far.
Yeah, that's
It's like we have so much freedom,
but
it's scary thinking like
Yeah.
I'm not, like, you really recognize you don't have a lot of time with your kids.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to perspective. Like me, as I'm entering my 40s, and I've been driving for what
20 plus
over
years,
20,
25
years.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing, like, man, it actually takes a long time to become a good driver. But when you're 16, you don't know that. You don't have that perspective.
Yeah.
And you think, awesome, like I can drive. But you don't know how like bad you are.
Yeah. Or how quick something can happen.
And, or how
Yeah.
quick stuff
Yeah.
can happen on the road that's completely out of your control.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
My oldest, I mean, it's taken a while. Like I didn't want to get in the car with her.
Really?
But then I was like, I have to teach her. But
Yeah.
that, I mean, I'm pretty sure that as hard as we tried, she drove with both feet for like a good year. I mean, it was.
Oh man, yeah.
So like I was in a rave.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. I can feel it right now as you say that.
Oh,
Yeah. No.
brutal. But my next one, she just like it. That's always been the dynamic, though. I mean, I remember my oldest Parker. She was trying to learn how to ride a bike. Probably 5, without training wheels. 5, 6. Her little sister, at 2 years younger, walks over. She's like, "Dad, take my training wheels off." Like, I'm teaching your older sister how to ride a bike without training wheels. I can't do 2 of you at once. She's like, take them off, and I'll show Parker how to ride a bike. Parker's like, "It's cool, Dad. Take them off." She gets on the bike. I like go to put my hand on the seat. She's like, "Don't touch it."
How dare you?
Rode her bike. Like, I didn't have to teach her.
Yeah.
But she's always just been like independent that way.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to see, but it's bittersweet as a dad because you're like, that's what you raise your kids to do. You raise your kids to be adults, to make their own decisions, to chase their own passions, to have their own life. But then you're like, but do you have to like leave me behind? It's not that it's a negative thing, right?
Yeah.
My daughter loves us but they're both of them. They're like doing their things
Yeah,
now.
going,
And
yeah.
you definitely realize, my goodness, my time with them is becoming more and more limited every day.
Yeah.
Seriously, I remember when we were newly married, our oldest, Lincoln, was, I don't know, a week old. Maybe we were blessing him in church or something. And this older couple came up and told us, like, enjoy this because it'll go by quick.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
You're
again,
like,
perspective. Like,
You're like, I
was
just want to
like,
sleep, dude.
Dude, I am so overwhelmed. I don't know what I'm doing. It should be illegal for me to be able to take a baby home from the hospital
After
without some
24
kind of
hours.
training. And now it's been
Yeah.
15 years. Where did that go?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's also funny, again, speaking of perspective, I remember one, like, we're so busy, I don't know how to do it. Then you see, younger siblings or cousins or neighbors or whatever that have their first and they're like so overwhelmed. I'm like, I've got 4. I can't imagine how easy it would be to have one baby. Like, suck it up, dude. It's not that hard.
Oh my God.
But in the moment, nothing feels harder.
Yeah.
It does make me glad so I became a dad at 25, which is young.
Yeah.
I think in the world's view. Seeing people my age just barely starting to have kids now, like maybe late 30s, early 40s, and I'm just like, man, I'm glad that I had them young. Not to like, because I had more energy and like now I can still play with them and whatever. But because like the things I learned and all that, like about life and that perspective, like, oh, having one is easy. And like seeing them struggle with the one. And I'm sitting over here, well, I'm like, well, I'm running a company with 4 kids.
Yeah. And they're still not old kids. You still have an 8-year-old.
But it's like, I'm just, I think back then though, there was a time when I was like, man, having kids early, I think maybe held me back in my career because I was, everyone else was just selfishly, not in a bad way.
Right.
No, but they didn't have kids. They were just going.
They're doing
They
their
could.
thing,
Yeah, they're just
which
going
is fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm over here trying to balance and focus on my family as well. But I think it all evens out in the end.
It does.
So
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And they're so fun. I was telling Dalton, and Hayden's heard this story, but my 8-year-old is...
He's awesome.
Had he been our first, he'd have been our last. Dude,
okay, one of those.
I freaking love this kid. But it was like 2 days ago. I was sitting on the couch. It's like 10:30 at night. I finally come sit down. He's still up, but I'm like teasing him, like, "Hey, bro, take Tad's socks off. Like, help me take my shoes and socks off." He's like whining about it and kind of giving me crap. But he ends up starting to do it, and then, dude, he doesn't like say it to be funny. He's not like looking at me and saying it for a reaction. Just under his breath, I hear him pull my sock off and go, "Oh God, it smells like breast milk." Dude, I was like, what? He doesn't have younger siblings. Like,
how in the world would you know? Would he know?
dude, that is the exact question I asked him. And he just looked up at me and he goes, "I ain't telling you." I was like, that's a problem, dude. Like, someone at school say this. You see it on like a YouTube video.
Right?
We're pretty like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I don't know.
That's hilarious.
We don't let our kids just watch anything.
I don't even know if I could tell you what that smells like. You know what I mean?
I absolutely couldn't tell you what that smells like.
But we've had 4 kids. I've been around it a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
That's funny.
Well, it's been a long time though, right? I mean, your youngest is my youngest.
right. So
Yeah.
it's probably been, over
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah, whatever it is. Like, I just
Gandhi.
could not believe
That is-
that he
That's
said that
hilarious,
to me
dude.
though. Like,
I would be
I love
so
Theo,
curious
though.
though. Like,
I
he
love
will
Theo.
not
I
tell
would
us.
need to get to the bottom of that. Like,
Are you
I've been asking him for days. Like, dude,
Just
just tell Dad. Like, I'm not gonna tell Mom. It's cool. Like, whatever. He's like, no, I'm not
He's like,
saying, Dad.
"You're not getting shit out of me, Dad."
maybe it's like the newest thing to say at school. Because
That's
I'm learning,
even better.
I'm
That's
learning
even
like
better.
what the newest things are, like gyat.
Oh, dude.
It took me a while to like, my kids were saying that, or I heard, I'm like, what is that? What?
I'm still. Does it mean big butt? I'm like kind of.
Yeah,
sure, kind of
dude.
not.
Yeah. It's like
I don't know.
yeah.
These
you
words.
gotta- like a dump truck.
My 17-year-old, for a while, we were not fans of the boy that she dated or the boy that she dated after that one.
Too bad.
So we're like, look, we want you to have your privacy, but we need to like help. We need to.
moderate this.
Yeah, and so we'd like occasionally go through her phone and like help her have conversations, and it's not like we were spying without her. She was there with us, but I'd be like, this is another language. You like, I don't know. I just read 15 minutes of text. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what is this? It's bizarre.
That's hilarious, dude.
I feel so old when I listen to those kids talk.
Well, we also had to just have a conversation, me and my wife, with our oldest, probably, a little bit ago, just like about how to communicate. Because it's just like staring blankly, not at anyone, mumbling under his breath, one words or no acknowledgement, It's like, okay, this has got to stop.
Yeah, you're like,
Like
chill.
this
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I experience that at work. Like the two salespeople I have right now are both Gen Z, and I'm like, you guys are weird, man, and scary. Like you're freaking me out, dude. Like I don't know what to do.
That's the
right
thing.
now.
I was like, I have to teach you now. Otherwise, you're going to be doing this in your 20s, in your career.
How are you going to get
or
a
you're
job?
not going to
in
get a
an
job
interview?
because
Yeah,
in the
like-
interview you're going to look just terrible. Yeah.
And they say,
come off.
I'm like, hey, get to the point, dude. Like,
I mean,
come on,
that's
it's
one
okay.
thing, but I'm with you. It's like this, I don't know. It is an odd communication style. It's because they're also used to just
Yeah.
messaging on their phone and
Yeah.
Snap. And then I'm learning all this like weird culture, like apparently leaving someone on red is like the equivalent of telling someone to go F off. And
Leaving
like,
them-
Yeah, dude, left on red, bro.
dude, I had no idea. Like,
Say that again, bro. I'm gonna leave your ass on red, dog.
yeah, I like
See, I mean, this is new knowledge to me.
dude, it is unbelievable. Or I
Or
don't know
just
if
like
your
giving
kid
the
does
thumbs
this,
up.
but
It's kind of like the middle finger.
Yeah.
Like the emoji.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Like
But
Yeah.
like my older
Okay, buddy.
kids are all on Snap, and so they share location with each other. But then they like are hanging out with 3 of the kids in the group, but not everyone else. So then all those 3 kids will go and block their location, and then all the other kids are in there like, how come you 3 blocked your location? Where are you? What's going on? Like that's not cool.
Dude.
You're like the level of anxiety that would come with,
And
and they know
where
like
they're
who's
at,
together.
also,
where they're at in their development. It's like that is not healthy.
I was
It's
just about to
not.
say that. I was just about to say that. Like, we have like in my ward in my church, there's these young women and young men who are like, I get texts from my buddies who are like, dude, I don't know what's wrong with my kid, and I don't say this. I'm always encouraging, but in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, you gave a 15-year-old access to Instagram, dude. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, this is insane. Like, I know full-grown men who can't handle Facebook and TikTok, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine like being a 15-year-old girl comparing yourself to people who would literally AI edit their photos.
But on the other hand, like my 17-year-old, they don't text. Like, dude, I'll look at her text
crazy,
messages.
dude.
There's nothing. There's no texting. It's all in Snapchat.
Really?
And she's like, Dad, if I don't have Snapchat, I can't like communicate with my friends. I'm like, you have text. She's like, no one texts. Like, and it's true. Her
Yeah.
Snap is just like full
I didn't
of
realize
things.
Snap was still the main
Yeah.
thing for communicating.
It's
I actually
it's weird.
didn't know that Snap
I
was
don't
still a
know, dude.
thing.
It's like this weird thing. Hayden's like, yeah, it's Snap.
I mean, because
It's Snap.
as an advert. Oh.
Yeah.
well,
there
by
it
the way,
is.
also
Yeah, you're
creepy.
right.
Go be an old guy pitching that at Shark Tank. All right, we're gonna give 13-year-olds messages that disappear. Like, why do you need that?
Photos,
They're gonna
videos,
disappear.
anything.
Like,
yeah.
like
But
don't
not everything in Snap disappears. Because I'll go back and like,
you can see. I was sure.
but it's like, so then if you don't give your kid Snap, then they're like, you're like, what are you doing Friday night?
Right.
Well, all my friends are talking. I don't know. I don't have it. So like,
Yeah.
we gate her. I mean, my 17-year-old
Sure,
only
right,
gets
right.
15 minutes a day on Snap, and then
So
we have
better find out where everyone's
we'll
gonna
give
be.
her like 15-minute increments, but we never max over more than like an hour.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm like, that's a long time.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
if
it-
you think about what percent of your day that is.
Yeah. I mean, you want to do something scary, just open your phone and look at your screen
Oh,
time.
yeah,
Though
for
you're
sure.
like,
Yeah, dude, that's great. I had an experience like that one time.
I saw something on the internet because we were doing this for a client actually. So we were researching. The average adult is spending 6 hours a day on their phone,
On their phone.
and you're thinking like, well, I'm spending 6 hours a day on my computer.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
yeah.
That's
And
half my
7
day.
sleeping or 8. Like,
Yeah.
So
where's my
3 or
day?
4 hours not on a screen? When you really start like narrowing it down that way, it makes you, and as a dad, I think it makes you go, I can't be thinking about my work in 3 weeks or a month or a year. I have to be like with my kids. I've got to.
it's what matters most anyway. But I already am like, I see my son, because only our oldest has a phone right now. And we got him an iPhone because it's just, we have iPhones. Like the ecosystem is easier.
Yeah.
And the parental controls are amazing.
They are much better than they were 5
Yeah,
years ago,
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
So But like just seeing his behavior on it, like we'll be watching a basketball game, but he's staring at his phone. Like, man, I hate that I do that.
Yeah.
And now you're doing it at 15.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I didn't even start these habits till my 30s or like 30, you know?
Yeah.
Like that scares me. Or just
They're all going to be hunchback by the time they're 40 because they're
that's
just
crazy.
like bent down looking at their phone.
neck problems.
Yeah.
Well, when I told that story, so the first time I like taken my journey into mental health, it was like, all right, the first thing that we're gonna do, we did it with this group. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna do a social media fast. We just delete it off our phones. And I was like, well, like we use this for business. Like I use this, and they're like, you can have it on your computer, like that's where you can use it, but it's not on your phone. And I remember deleting everything off my phone. And then like 30 minutes later, it was the scariest thing that happened to me because I'm like swiping across the screen and I'm
With
going back
nothing
and
to
forth.
do.
And I finally, like, it was the most mindless thing. And it was the first time I caught myself being mindless. But like, it took me like 30 seconds to realize like, holy shit, dude, like I'm looking for something that's not there, that doesn't exist. And I'm trying to figure out how
It's
to
the
get
ghost buzz.
it. Dude, and it's like, it scared me.
Right,
So
that's-
like, yeah.
That's real.
Like
It
this
is,
Sunday,
dude.
This Sunday we're doing another
you
one. But
feel it.
yeah,
Like,
the Phantom.
yeah. And it's like, I swear on my life, my
And you're
phone
like,
buzzed.
I'm gonna find a notification.
But yeah, dude, it's
I actually,
scary,
where's my
bro.
phone? I actually I did something that has been really nice.
Yeah.
I made all my icons black.
Oh, whoa.
And they don't pull up any notifications.
I didn't even know you could do
None.
Yeah, I don't even know how you do that.
I had my 17-year-old do it for me. It's like, I don't
Wow.
know how either. But
that. This is boring. To
but I
look at.
will say, since I've done that,
It's nicer.
well, and Dalton and Hayden will testify, I suck at replying to texts. Like, I'll get in and then like look and I'll be like, holy crap, I've got
348.
I mean, right
Unread.
now I have 100, and the only way I can, I figured this out. The only way I can tell how many unreads I have is I have to click someone's name and it'll say I have 101 unreads. But I have to go like 3 clicks in to figure that out.
Yeah.
You're just leaving everyone on red.
Yeah, dude. Left on
Not
red,
necessarily
dog.
intentionally, but like I was so glued to the notifications. It's like I just
dude.
can't.
It's a good
No,
thing.
you
man.
have
can't
to
do this.
You have to be able to break those cycles, right? Like you were saying,
Yeah.
there has to be something that shocks you out of bad behaviors or whatever.
Yeah, dude. And it was that we're gonna do another like on the phone. We're gonna delete all of them on Sunday and try to go 30 days. But
Probably hard the first few days and then liberating after that.
yeah, well, because like I still have to use it like for my sales team. Like we'll still be
Yeah,
on
of course.
LinkedIn and stuff, and so we'll just but it's on the computer. And then it's nice
That's a
because like
different mindset.
when you're at work, then it's like a tool. Now it's like, okay, I remember now that this is like for work.
You're saying desktop versus mobile or just
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if it's on your desktop, it's a different mindset than on your phone.
Yeah, that's why I just watch YouTube on desktop.
Dude, you get in trouble
Nice.
with YouTube on your phone, dog. For real.
my 17-year-old's going to Cambodia on an HXP trip.
Nice.
What's HXP?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's humanitarian experience. That's not right, but it's something like that.
But at least I understand.
Yeah,
the
she's going to
gist
go
now.
to Siem Reap and help build schools.
Okay, that's cool.
17 days,
Wow.
and they have to turn their phone in when they get to the airport.
I
and
love
they
that.
they can't, the chaperone's like, you can text us, and we'll communicate through to your kids, but like your kids don't have any social media, they don't have phone, they don't have access to internet, nothing. They have to. They're like, we recommend that you go get them a decent like pocket camera, because they'll want to take pictures, but we won't even give them a phone to take pictures.
That's good. Good
Yeah.
for them.
And I think it's going to
That's pretty
be
sweet.
a wonderful experience for
Yeah.
my daughter. I'm going to miss her for 17 days. Like
These kids are gonna have the cold sweats, like going cold turkey.
Shaking.
it's, they're
Shaking.
literally on like
yeah, dude. They're like,
they're on a bender. Like they just need that fix, man.
But
Just like,
like
check it
I
out,
would
dude.
too, probably at this point. I haven't done
Yeah,
that
man.
in a long time.
I'd rather lose my wallet than my phone,
yeah,
Yeah.
right? I mean, think
Yeah.
about it though.
Yeah.
I have Apple Pay on my phone, so I can still pay to get by.
Well, and yeah, all
Right.
the information. Yeah.
well, and
The only thing they need to put on your phone is your freaking driver's license, and then no more wallets.
and some states actually have that.
Right.
Yeah. So
Like my
It's
credit card is on
2.
there.
I think it's But they've had it for a while. Like, I think a lot of states
Arizona
don't
has
want
it.
it.
I think was what you said.
Why?
I think another one. You have your driver's license on your phone.
Have it on. You could do either if you want, but like,
Yeah.
I would
I
not
don't know,
have a
maybe
wallet.
But I remember.
easier to
carry
falsify.
cash.
I don't know.
Your credit card's on. Like you do
Yeah,
Apple
dude.
Pay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Your airline tickets are on there.
Right?
Yeah, we can do anything with.
Yeah,
Dude,
it doesn't make sense to me.
I got to tell you another crazy story about that because it was around the same time. So we did a social media fast, and then we were doing these things to like be more present. And then we went to like this retreat where like it's you and the cabin, and that's it. Like, and you're there for like a day. It's just like the silence retreat.
Is this the Revenant?
No, but it was nice. Like, but I'll tell you what scared the shit out of me was we went into the cabin and they're like, you have a radio over there. If you're bleeding out and dying, that's where it is. But otherwise, we'll see you in 2 days. Like, have fun. And dude, it was like the first couple hours were like, I was making up like a to-do list in my head of like things to do. Like I didn't have anything to do. And it was just, again, like how many problems do we create for ourselves because we can't just sit and not do anything for a minute, like, and just be still.
Yeah, which leads to like either that depression or that anxiety. It's just kind of like, which way are you going to go with it?
Yeah.
But I love it when my kids are bored. Seriously,
Bored's
like they'll
good.
come to me like, I don't
I'll
have
t-
anything to do. I'm like, good.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
bored. Being bored is okay. I
Because
tell my
you're going to
kids
have
that
to think and figure something out using your brain.
too. Or you can just be with yourself and like, and not, I don't know, and be in that state of like,
You're right. The boredom.
we don't have to
creates-
make anything up though. Like, what are we making up that we have to do right now when we could just be together as a family, right? Or like, I got to check on this. I got to do this. But you could just be with your kid though, right? Like
Right.
that's,
Yeah, we
or
are.
you could be like doing, I don't know.
Yeah, we are
For
just
me, it
so
was like that.
overstimulated.
Yeah.
You even get on an elevator and it's 2 seconds. Next time you get on an
Oh
elevator,
my gosh, shut.
but next time you get on an elevator,
Or like,
you're on your phone.
Yeah.
get
You'll go.
gravity.
We're on the second floor. You park at the lobby.
It's like a
Odds are
dude, yeah.
you get on your phone. You have 10 seconds in that thing.
It's wild, dude.
We can't just stand.
Yeah,
It's
wild,
crazy
bro.
how immediate once you like someone leaves, like right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Or a scenario changes and you think, I need to get on my phone.
It's crazy.
When you
yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Well, good.
It's a weird world we're living
Yeah,
in.
man. Wild
But-
stuff.
Dude, I appreciate you coming
Yeah,
out.
thanks for
This was
coming
fun.
on
It was
the show,
about
man.
kind of everything and nothing. It was perfect.
Hey,
This is
thank
exactly
you.
I,
what
for,
I hope
supposed
it
to
wasn't a giant waste of your time.
No, thanks for having me. Got to meet you guys in person.
Yeah.
Been connected online for a while, so appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if people want to get a hold of you, it's on all the social media, Snapchat.
You got
Snapchat's the
YouTube.
primary one. If you want to know where I'm going to be tonight,
Yep.
you know, hit me up on Snap. No, LinkedIn. You know, you can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter. Those are probably like my two biggest.
I just got
Time sucks.
I just got back into Twitter because I was off it, or I was on and I loved it and I got hacked.
Ah.
So I just started a new one, and
I've
dude, that platform's fun. I don't care what anyone says.
Twitter's
It's
fun.
great, dude.
I used to be a lot like I used to tweet a lot more, but I swear I'm like shadow banned on there.
Really?
Like my tweets just get no engagement.
Yeah.
Like
They
two
just go
people
to
like them
yeah.
every time, and same people see them. So I'm just like,
Wallaroo.
it's kind of
and
enabled me
your
to
wife.
to not
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's just, is it worth it? So
Yeah.
I've gravitated towards posting on LinkedIn more, where it's
Yeah.
like engagement is super high, people see it, so I just feel like the value's there. Anyway,
Yeah.
but
Cool.
yeah, you can find me there.
Okay.
Right on.
Fun.
Sweet.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah. Likewise. What are you playing now?